Live from the Heart and Mind Studios in beautiful Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's another episode of Seriously Mental with Chris Shaw. As always, Seriously Mental is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Member. Now please welcome your host, comedian, and peer support specialist, Chris Shaw. Welcome. How are you? Good evening. Welcome to another episode of our Tuesday night show, Seriously Mental. Seriously? Seriously. Okay. Apparently seriously. Yeah. Hey, how are you? I'm your host, Chris Shaw. And tonight, we're going to do some things a little different tonight. We're going to try, because, we haven't quite got the bugs worked out of the regular part of the show. So we thought we'd just throw another wrench in the spokes and try some new technology tonight. And what we're going to do is we're going to be taking phone calls from you, the viewer, with your questions or concerns about mental health, mental illness, and suicide prevention, and what else might be on your mind. Please remember, this is not a political show, so we don't want to get deep into political topics unless it's about funding for mental health programs. But otherwise, we'd love to hear how you're doing. We're in kind of a wild time right now. Events of the last 48 hours have put Minneapolis in the national spotlight again, for all the wrong reasons. And it seems like that the timing just seems to be so weird in the midst of the trial that is going on in town, to have another situation where we've lost a young person at the hands of police. And I don't want to get into reasons or why or how, because those things are beyond my scope. They're above my pay grade, as we often hear. But what we do know is, as things are changing, the COVID situation, really fluid right now with the issues that have come up with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Our office manager, who was in today at the Heart and Mind Connection, who had just gotten the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, had said, "Oh, that's great to hear. That not only for some people got their appointments canceled to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but she'd already gotten it, so she's feeling a little like a guinea pig." So, Tara, out there, hope you're doing okay. Hope you're upright, or at least laying down and resting. And we don't want you to fall over or anything. So here we are, as you can see, Minneapolis right now, for anybody tuning in from outstate, is quiet at this moment. And we hope that will be the case. For those who are not aware, who live locally, there is a curfew that's going to go into effect tonight at 10 o'clock. And so Gabriel, we got to get him out of here and back to his pumpkin before he turns into a mouse. Or I don't know how that works for him. He's oh boy. There he is. Hey, how are you, Gabriel?
I'm doing all right, man.
Gabriel was going to come over last night, but they kind of told him, stay put, buddy. And that was probably a smart idea.
I don't want to go to jail again.
Again. Not twice in a week, right?
It's every other week.
Every other week. We have got some interesting weather out there today to wake up to snow on the ground. I was like, I thought this was done. Apparently, God has a sense of humor, because he thought we should see a little bit more snow out there. So let me tell you right now, what we are going to be doing here in a little bit is we are going to be taking calls directly from you. I think we've figured out the technology to get those calls. You will be on the air. So even though this is cable, please remember, there might be young people watching who haven't learned all those nifty words some of the kids are using nowadays. So let's try and keep it family friendly. And so we'll be taking those calls. We'll be discussing questions and, questions, concerns, soup recipes, whatever you might have. Tell us what you do for your wellness. Tell us what you do to take care of yourself. Tell us how this time that we're in right now has you feeling. Are you feeling some anxiety? Or are you feeling some sadness over things? And we'd love to see if there's something we can tell you. I will tell you right now, disclaimer, I am not a clinician, although I have played a esthetician on TV before. But I don't think that counts. And I won't be asking for insurance card numbers or even credit card numbers unless you'd like to make a donation tonight online. Wow, that'd be amazing. I think this is the first time in the shows that we've done so far that I've actually mentioned the word donation. If you weren't aware, the Heart and Mind Connection is a federally licensed 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we operate solely on donations and grants from generous folks like you out there. And we are really hoping that this show, despite everything else, is going to continue, and that we will get some of these things worked out. I was so happy when Gabriel, who is our producer back in there, say hi, Gabriel.
Hello.
Hello there. Hey.
I'm gonna use my John Wayne today.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got that kind of that late night DJ voice. He's got going on. Yeah, gonna be spinning some records here, and you can actually catch Gabriel. He's got a part-time gig there on the Saturdays on KFAI.
Yep. Salos Alegres. We're on Saturdays. KFAI.org or 90.3 FM radio.
Ooh.
We play that Tex-Mex accordion.
Oh
wild
man,
accordion music.
that accordion music. He gets that jamming, and I just want to break out the guacamole.
Híjole.
I did not know that that's not the same as like those winemaking things, where they put you in the barrel with the grapes and you stomp on them. That is not the best way to make guacamole if you want your friends to have some of it.
Unless you wash your feet.
Now you tell me. Now that I've scared away most of my football fan friends. There's the number right there. If you can see that, 612-351-2080. That's right. Call 612-351-2080. Call now.
Or it's 351-2080 for our Mexican friends.
See, I just lip synced that for you. One more time with that number.
612-351-2080.
Nobody bought that. I don't think out there.
Almost like the old Chinese movie.
Yeah, it's like, I'll get you. Mister. Yeah, that was always funny. We'd watch those on Saturday afternoons. That was something I used to love to do. Is you'd always have that those Saturday afternoon movies. Remember Channel 9, and they played this cool little theme song. It took me years to learn that was actually a Steely Dan song that they played in the background instrumentally. And boy, oh wow, we are all over the map right now, aren't we? Hey, I want to give a shout out, and forgive me if this seems odd, but in the midst of everything that is going on with police, I want to give you a little heads up about a situation that I found myself in on Sunday, driving my boy home to his mom's house. We happened past a situation where we saw in a parking lot a car and about 8 squads around it, and people looking, about 3 officers looking into this vehicle. And I'm like, boy, either a baby locked himself in that car or there might be some type of mental health crisis going on. And so I went and I dropped him off, and I circled back around and I pulled up to the park, and I walked up loudly behind one of the officers so I didn't startle him, and asked if there was some type of mental health concern going on. And they said, indeed, there was somebody who had locked themselves in the car, and they were kind of in crisis. And they'd been working for about an hour to try and get this person out safely and to some help. Whoa, turn me down there, buddy. All right. So I just said, hey, this is what I do, and this is who I work for. Would you mind letting me take a crack at it and just have a chat with him and let him know what's going on, that I get it, that I've been there. I've been the guy in the car with the police around me, and feeling really scared to get out. And they were open to that, as long as I waived responsibility for anything that might happen to me. And I said, no, I totally get that. And it took about 35 minutes or so, and an ambulance came. And we were able to get the person to unlock their car and come out peacefully, and got him into the ambulance and sent for an evaluation. And I don't bring that up to brag, but I bring it up because I think it's important to know that with all the situations that we're faced with right now and all the questions we have about new models for law enforcement, there's several counties and cities around the state that are working with um, what are called co-responder models. Um, and most counties, even smaller counties, have mental health crisis teams where they will have, if you call and ask for a mental health crisis team and say that there is someone in crisis, that they will send out mental health professionals to the scene to work on de-escalation. But not all police departments necessarily have people who will work in that capacity. So to me, I bring it up because it was a big deal to me that this guy that just drives up out of nowhere and, they didn't even really take much time besides reading my business card to check much credentialing. Apparently I explained myself pretty well to them, and they walked me up to the car and introduced me, and I asked them to kind of back off a little bit, so because it didn't seem like it was really going to work, having them staring over my shoulder while I tried to have this conversation. And I was greatly appreciative that they were allowing me to be there in that situation and provide a different type of conversation with this person coming from a lived experience point of view as a peer. And I'm just so glad that everything worked out peacefully, and the person was able to get somewhere and get some help that day. And that made me feel really good. And our hope is that there'll be more opportunity for that, whether it is around the Twin Cities or if it's working with other organizations around the state. And I will tell you, my good friend Ray, who we seem to talk about on a regular basis. Ray, I hope you're out there today. Maybe even call in tonight instead of just chatting on the chat device like you do sometimes. Is he there? Tell him to call me after the commercial break, and we'd love to have him talk, because I printed up the little flyer thing we talked about. Ray and I had a great talk. Ray, by the way, Ray Stengline, who runs an organization. Well, maybe there he is now. Tell you what, well, let's take a call and see how it works. That might be him now. Hi, this is Chris. Hello. Oh, I got the phone line turned down. There we go. Hi, are you there?
Good evening, Chris. Ray.
Oh, it's Ray. Oh, that's so funny. I was just thinking about you. Which you might find weird because I'm sitting here without pants on. And so the fact that I was talking about you might be weird a little bit. Can you hear me?
I can just barely hear you over the phone.
You could just barely hear me over the phone. Okay.
I can hear you over the computer better than the phone.
Okay. Well, as long as you can hear me somehow, that's great. And there is going to be that weird lag, between when you hear me respond and what you might see. So don't worry about that. Ray, how are you, man? How are you tonight, bud?
I am doing better. I'm definitely doing better.
You're doing better.
Like I said, hearing your story this morning really get me really in a good place. I mean, what you did was an awesome thing, and I'm very proud of you. And it shows what we can do to help our fellow people on this.
It does show the power of lived experience, and I think there are going to be, and I don't want to make a blanket statement, good or bad, about police, but I think there are the ones out there that recognize that with this huge increase in mental health components to a lot of their calls, that there's going to be people who bring a little bit more training to it, that might be able to help in those situations. And that some of the outcomes are going to be a little bit different. I was starting to tell people, Ray Stengline runs an organization down in the Wilmer area, in that, not over, I keep getting corrected because I always say down there. Everything is either north or south of the Twin Cities to me. Even, I think Wisconsin is south of us and Canada is north. That's all I know. But he runs an organization called Your Wings of Hope, which is a mental health advocacy organization. And we here at the Heart and Mind Connection have had the great pleasure to work hand in hand with his organization on bringing some mental health training to that part of the state. And Ray was the one who put my name in as a candidate to be a board member for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, which now Ray and I are both on. And I'm very honored that he would even consider me for that, and just a great guy. And so the other day we were having a conversation, right? And Ray, do you want to talk a little bit about what we were talking about?
I certainly can. Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of a frustration that I think has been building over time, and since my initiation into the mental health industry in 2012, it doesn't seem like we've had great leaps and bounds of success. It seems like all we're doing is meeting. And it just kind of started coming to a head, and I started just putting out some feelers, and I'm seeing that there's a lot of people that feel the same way, that we need to start taking action. We got to come up with a way to get all these groups. There's many groups out there that are doing wonderful work, that are doing the same thing, but no one is connected together. We're not giving the same message. We're not sharing each other's successes and sharing each other's positions out there, so that somehow we have to get everyone to work together and start on a plan to make it better for our community.
And resources and things like that. I mean, it's always been interesting to me that there are people working in this space of mental health and suicide prevention that feel it's a competition. Which I get when there's money involved, that we all want to be able to get our hands on some of that money to do more with what we do within our organizations. But, there's plenty of people out there that need help. I don't think we're going to run out of people needing the services that all of these organizations do. But so we were having this great conversation about we should, and God love the big organizations that are out there. We do a lot of work with NAMI. We love their advocacy efforts and their training, and they put so much heart into what they do. But there are a lot of these small nonprofits like ourselves, like Ray's organization, like the Mental Wellness Campaign of Anoka County that we work with. And we said, what if we were to do something to get us all together and kind of talk about this frustration and what we might do to move forward. And Ray said, I like that idea. And so we decided to put together a commission to think about a coalition to establish a report that will be read by a Blue Ribbon Council, which I think is a council that won at the fair last year or something like that. And it started to sound like every other meeting. And so we said, you know what, let's do one thing. Let's just invite all the small nonprofits in the state that deal with any aspect that filters down to people's mental wellness. So that could be food insecurity, so food shelves, homeless shelters, educational services, job placement, because we know the financial crisis that has come for many people over this last year in the pandemic. And so the next day I woke up and Ray stayed up and wrote this email to me that was just so heartfelt. And I was just like, dude, you have motivated me now. And he came up with this great team called the SWOT. Is it SWOT or SWAT? SWAT Squad. Strength with one team. And so what we've decided, and I haven't done really much more except get the Eventbrite link ready to go. But so Saturday, May 8th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we are going to be holding a live event in Minneapolis for members and leaders of nonprofit groups in the state of Minnesota that work along these lines. Anything that, whether it's the direct point of your nonprofit, or if you can look at it as when somebody deals with food insecurity, when somebody deals with housing insecurity, these are where mental illnesses can develop and mental struggles. So that event will be both live in Minneapolis and virtually on Zoom for those people who can't travel from the far reaches, north by Canada or way down south by Wilmer. So we're going to have this event, right? We're going to put this on.
Exactly. It's time. It's definitely time to do this.
and it must be time because we're going to call it. I don't know if you can zoom in on that at all, Mr. Producer guy. It's called "This Can't Wait," because this can't wait. And at first I was saying a suicide prevention summit, but I crossed out prevention. I said a suicide action summit. We always go back to talking about, and I think every time Ray has seen me now, and I've done a class or a speaking event, I always go back to this quote from Bishop Desmond Tutu that always kind of has hit me since I've got into this space of mental health. He said that there comes a point where we need to stop simply pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. And I think when we get all these people together, we'll really know if we can invite every group that we know, and we've begun the list, and my hope is by Saturday we will have that invite out in email to everybody and start getting people registered to be a part of this free summit to talk about these things, that we can actually talk and listen to each other and walk away with some concrete things that we can begin to do in this state.
Chris,
Yeah.
how could they be able to get a hold of you or to sign up for this event?
Well, we're going to have an Eventbrite link that should go live by Friday. So that will be right on our website. We'll also put it on Facebook as an event. And so if you check out just our website at theheartandmindconnection.org, sometime Friday afternoon, there will be under our events page and on our calendar, there will be a link and more information about what we're hoping to get out of this. And by no means do Ray and I think that we have all the answers because we came up with this. That's the point. The point is that we want to hear from all the other reaches of the state where there are nonprofits working. We know a great organization up in the north central part of the state, Wellness in the Woods, who is doing great stuff. We know organizations down in the southern part of the state with a big acronym that I can't necessarily remember now. We know around this part of town in Anoka, there's Alexandra House that works with people around relationship abuse, and it's a shelter for women, and people right here in town, as I said, the Mental Wellness Campaign. And so we want to pull all these people together, the groups that do work specifically for veterans, which there are a lot of in the state, but that's good because there is a lot of issues around veteran suicide. So, people always talk about, well, you seem to talk about the downside of this a lot, the suicide and the illness part. We need to talk about wellness. Well, that's great, but if people are needing to get well from something, it's usually because they might be struggling with some of this. It's the people that understand the things that we need to do for our own wellness. That's where we start to spread this around. So I went long on this idea, but I'm so glad that you called because I've been thinking about it ever since we had this conversation, Ray, and I'm really looking forward to see who we might get to be involved coming out for this thing. And my hope is we can drag you up to the actual cities. Over from William or the Spicer area. What's spicy?
The Candy, Ohio County.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm going to have to do it via Zoom that day. I have a prior commitment that I have been made aware of up in the Detroit Lakes area, but I will be on and behind it and do whatever I can to be part of the driving force.
I love it. And when I told Gabriel, our producer, that you were from Spicer, he was like, "Oh, spicy." He wants to come visit there.
Spicer is nicer.
Yahoo! So listen, Ray, good to talk to you. We're going to take a little commercial break here and come back, and hopefully some other people are calling. If you're getting a busy signal, please just wait for me to shut up and then call, and I'll get that call. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hey, also later on, coming up, we've got Jay James going to play some music near the end of the show tonight. So look forward to seeing that. Stick around for more Seriously Mental. Thanks.
You are amazing because you are a descendant of a strong people who will always be resilient and love and care about you.
You are strong, beautiful, powerful. You're super bad.
You are strong and resilient.
We are so lucky to have you. You matter.
You have purpose, and you are exactly what this world has been waiting for.
Represent who you are, where you come from, your family. It's all important.
You have all of the strength, the courage, the perseverance, and the love of your ancestors in your DNA.
Keep reflecting the light you see in the world.
You're inspiring, and you're leading the way to a more equitable world.
You know you can be what you want to be if you try to be.
Speak loudly, be bold.
Be you, share your light with much love.
As we weather the COVID-19 pandemic, remember to not only take care of your physical health, but also your mental health. The pandemic news and uncertainty can trigger feelings of loneliness, despair, and hopelessness. You might also feel irritable or on edge, especially given all the changes that have occurred in a short period of time. Good self-care is the key to reduce anxiety and keep your spirits high. While so many of our normal activities are disrupted, practice kindness. Be patient with your loved ones. Eat healthy. Avoid turning to addictive substances. Get enough sleep and move. Physical exercise is good for mind and body. You will feel better for it. Let's fight COVID-19 together.
Indeed. Great message there from Magellan Health about weathering the pandemic. I love what she said. You may feel angry. You're damn right I feel angry. But it had nothing to do with COVID. She talks about do not turn to addictive substances. Talked to a guy yesterday, or the other day, which is when everything happens to me apparently. He is battling an addiction to drinking brake fluid. And yet he said he could stop anytime. Okay,
So
right? Where's the
does he
rim
take a lot
shot?
of breaks?
Is there a rim shot? But
Does he take a lot of breaks?
he needs to. Yes, he can stop often. All right, so enough jokes. Yeah, if somebody else wants to call in, we'd love to talk to them about what's going on. So yeah, that's an exciting thing. We've noticed that we're starting to get more and more calls about coming back out. Last year in March, right after the shutdown happened, we had a lot of classes planned. We had a lot of classes on the books, mental health first aid and wellness recovery action planning and QPR. We are working again with the mental wellness campaign of Anoka County to get some more QPR classes online and maybe even start to put some of them back out live in the communities. Another exciting thing that we're looking to add to those is because we're very proud to be now in partnership with the Steve Rumler Hope Network as a naloxone access point, meaning that we can provide naloxone kits and also community training on how to utilize those kits. Naloxone is the drug that helps reverse an opioid overdose. So we can be doing those trainings along with QPR trainings. I got used to using acronyms like I think we all tend to do in this industry. QPR stands for Question, Persuade, Refer, which is what's considered a suicide gatekeeper training course for anyone in the community. You don't have to have any kind of special skills except maybe empathy, which would be nice. And then really the connection to suicide doesn't have to be a direct one. It could just be a concern for people in your community and hearing what's going on. I think Ray had mentioned that there was sadly another loss over the weekend over in his area of the state, another suicide loss. We had gotten information. The numbers had come out for preliminarily for 2020, talking about that suicide rates had dropped as a state, where in 2019 we had seen the highest number of suicides in the state of Minnesota ever recorded, which was probably it was twice the number it was in 1999. So 10 years later, we had doubled the number of suicides in the state in a 10-year period. And even though they may have gone down in 2020, uh, I think anybody who works uh, with people who experience mental health crisis or situations can tell you we are probably facing the calm before the storm right now, whereas even though things seem to be getting back to normal, whatever that is, that there's going to be this lingering effect of what we've lost over the last year. And for sadly way too many people, it's friends and family that have been lost to COVID and other things. But I think we're going to start seeing this feeling like I think about high school kids. My son is a junior now, and will be a senior year next year. But we've talked about all the kids who have that senior year as their big last year in high school, and maybe are trying to use sports as their leap off place to something more in college or things like that, and just all of that taken away, proms and dances, and just everything went away, and more than that, the isolation that it was replaced with, not just for high school students, for older adults, people living in senior living communities and nursing homes who could not see family, who could not have that human connection that we know we need so much. So it will be interesting, and I think that's one of the things that had Ray and myself talking about wanting to get all these nonprofits together, because I know there's a lot of groups out there now. I don't want to know what they're doing too, what efforts they're making, what's working, what maybe we could be doing more to partner on, and things like that. So it'll be interesting. I saw that the mayor of Minneapolis end of last week had named 6 nonprofit organizations to be part of what is this ramping up of security, but I think more community engagement is the word and the terminology I like, around where people are at as we get closer to the end of this trial for Derek Chauvin and in the George Floyd death, and knowing that these organizations will be on the street and talking with people, and just really testing the mood of where people are at, and trying to help people feel like they're heard. It's one of the biggest things that we can do for somebody who struggles with a mental illness or a substance use disorder is let them know that they're not alone, and that we hear what's going on with them. So that's one thing that we have going on. And I'd love, again, to hear from you. If you're out there right now and watching, take a chance. You don't even have to tell me who you are. But call 612-351-2080. And we'd love to see this work, this call-in thing. And we might make this a regular, maybe one show a month as just doing call-in things. Again, I want to thank our guest who will be back next week. Next week we have Anthony Housey. I think he is, and I'll probably get it wrong because I don't think he sent it to me. He's some kind of sergeant, not Dick Sargent, who was from, what show was he in, Dick Sargent? Never mind, it doesn't matter. He's with the Minnesota Army National Guard, and he's going to be here talking about his involvement with a coalition called the Minnesota Military Mental Health Coalition, and their upcoming event that has been for the last 3 years a live event. Well, not last year, but the 3 years before that, when I have gone to it live up at Camp Ripley. But it's a great opportunity, an event where it's a day-long event to talk about the military culture and how community members can be part of helping bridge that gap from when people either in the military are getting out and returning to civilian life, which can be so hard to navigate sometimes, and what civilians need to know about that culture that will help them connect better to active military members, reservists and guard members, to veterans. And there's a lot of really interesting information. I know last year we were going to have the great what did he do? It was a documentary person who did the things about the Vietnam War. So let's take this call right now. Good afternoon, it's Chris.
Hello, it's Robin Renweiler calling.
I've heard of you. How are you? This is Robin Renweiler.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for calling in. Would you like fries with that? Oh, wait, that's my other job.
Oh, right. We're a little bit behind here. I'm going to listen to you on the phone.
I know, isn't that weird? Because you're like, he just said that. Wait a minute, he said it again. What's going on, Robin? We know Robin because she works with Ramsey County.
Oh, go ahead.
And yeah, are you willing to tell people what you do with Ramsey County, Robin?
Yeah, I actually work for Ramsey County Adult Mental Health, and I work on a newer team. To me, anyway, I spent most of my career at Ramsey County on a different team, but switched over to a more of a intake mental health civil commitment team, I will call it. And I just wanted to call to say that, you know, I switched over in January, and it's super interesting to me on the referrals we are getting that they seem to be first time into the mental health system, and they are much older than we typically have seen when it's their first time into the mental health system.
That's interesting. And are they letting you know that maybe this is something they've been struggling with for a while, and the situations around the pandemic have kind of exacerbated that? Or is it just new?
Some have a history, and some have no history whatsoever.
Wow.
Which is the interesting part to me, because, you know, in all of my training and education, you know, we're taught that the typical onset for females and males and, you know, for mental illness are, you know, this age and this age. And that's not what I'm seeing right now for these new referrals, which is quite concerning. As you know, I mean, we are just seeing an increase. I am, anyway, seeing an increase in my own community. I live across the border in Wisconsin.
I'm sorry?
But I'm seeing an increase in suicides. And these suicides also happen to be the middle-aged family members, you know, they seem to be doing well, and then until they're not. And so it's a little bit different from what I'm used to and what I'm accustomed to in my former position. But it seems with COVID, and, you know, I can't say everything that has contributed to what I'm seeing, but definitely in the last year, I'm seeing more adults that are 40 years old, 50 years old, and this is their first time in the mental health system with virtually no history of mental health symptoms.
You know, and what's frightening at the same time that it's encouraging about that is if you think about all these new people who are saying, wow, I thought I kind of had myself in a good spot until all of these other things kind of got piled on, and now I'm really struggling with this, but they are reaching out. It makes me think about how many others have developed situations around what's happened in the last year who are afraid to reach out or don't feel deserving of the help that's available to them. And that's part of what really scares me, of all the people who are suffering in silence and alone.
Right, I agree with that. There's so many out there that feel that they are alone, and they definitely are not alone. And I know it's your mission and my mission as well that we spread that message that, you know, nobody's alone. There are people here to help, and they just need to ask for it. And family members, especially, if you're noticing something a little bit different, a little bit off of your loved ones, really just making sure you can reach out and get the help. Sometimes your loved one is going to get really mad at you for doing so, but you don't know if you just saved their life.
Exactly. And let me give you a little context to the people watching. If you've been a regular watcher of this show, you might know Robin from the incredible appearance of her kids and their friends who were here about a month ago or so. They were the group from the Kindness Crew, those lovely gals that were here on the couch and talking about the great work that they do. And this is some middle school kids who just said things can be different. and it's up to us. And they took this on and started this organization to be kind to people. And I think that's just, a great example of helping yourself rise above and doing something that you feel good about, and knowing that that little effort sometimes could mean the world to someone who's not connected to other people like that.
I agree.
So are they there
100%.
hanging out tonight?
I mean, just reaching that hand out to the student that sits by themselves at the lunch table, or making that phone call to and this is a personal experience, but making or accepting the phone call from the family member that you dread talking to because they call you over and over. But there's a reason they're calling you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you just really need to always remember, just be kind and try to take yourself out of your own stressful environment and your own stressful life for a minute.
Yep.
And reach that hand out to help the others.
That's awesome. And I owe you a phone call, and if those hours between 9 and 1 work tomorrow, I will give you a call tomorrow morning, and we can talk about some of those other plans we're trying to make to move all of these agendas forward.
Let's shoot for Thursday, and we will make it happen.
All right, I'm writing that down right now, Thursday morning. Got it. Call Robin. And just tell the girls that those photos that you took of them at their dance competition, holy cow, they look incredible. I knew they were athletic, but that was awesome. They looked like they were doing some just amazing stuff.
They work super hard, and they love it, and they express themselves through dance.
That's their joy.
Absolutely.
Well,
thank you so much, Chris. And
I'm so glad I caught you. We'll talk very soon. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Bye.
I love you. Thank you for all that you do.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that is so nice to hear from her. I'll tell you what, we're going to take another short break, and then we're going to be back with the music of Jay James. Stick around.
You have served our country and made us proud. Many of you are still serving. Some of you have come home to our communities where you continue to lead and contribute. Some have come back from deployment to find new challenges at home. Every family can have challenges. In or out of uniform, we need you to continue to serve and help your battle buddies, families, and communities. It's important that we all learn the 5 signs of emotional suffering: personality change, agitation, withdrawal, poor self-care, and hopelessness. If you or someone you know is experiencing one or more of these signs, reach out and offer to help. I reached out for the support I needed, and it made all the difference. This is how we keep our units, our families, and our nation strong. Visit changedirection.org.
That's great. That's great. Oh, man.
I just told her how important, of course, they are.
Yes, we're hot. Yep, we're hot. So I'll tell you what, one of the things I've loved about this, we put a call out on Facebook under, I think it was the Twin Cities Music Group or Minnesota Music Group. And I've asked for people to make suggestions, and our buddy, Tim Cheesebro, has made some great recommendations. And then we had our friends Katie on here before as musicians. Last week was someone I had not met before as a musician. So what I'm loving is that we're asking for people who are musical, who write music about their experiences in life, and use this art as their wellness tool. Tonight, we are blessed to have another one of these new to us musicians with us. Would you please welcome, from the Twin Cities area, Jay James.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Let me just take that from the top.
inside and old habits telling me that I should stay. Oh, loneliness will break me down. Well, if it does, scatter my pieces in the naked lunch. Yeah, whoa, oh, 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 yeah. 'Cause you know what I'm running from. Inside, but in the morning it's cold, so I'm waking up slowly. Yeah, you know the Thank you very much. That's Waking Up. That's going to be released on Spotify on my birthday, April 26th. So look forward to that. It's with my band. It's just myself and my buddy Preston. Our name is Dirty Mac and Waylon Free.
Dirty Mac and Waylon Free.
Those are our musical alter egos.
Does that mean the Waylon is free or it's free of Waylon?
You'd have to ask him because that was not my idea. I'm just Dirty Mac.
Jay, I gotta ask you this, man.
Sure.
Can we go back to that picture a minute? Jay James didn't show up, and Chris Robbins, Crows was in.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, I had my mic down.
You got me. It's really neat.
I was saying, if you could throw that picture up again there, Gabriel, of him from before. Maybe it takes. I was like, he sent a picture. And he goes, "Yeah, I think this is a little old." Now, I thought, no, that guy couldn't be here tonight, but apparently Chris Robinson from the Black Crows showed up, and
dude,
man, I got a picture up of him right now, and you look exactly like him. It's so funny.
Did you want to take that picture?
Yeah, sure.
That is awesome. Play us another one of these mac and cheese songs, free.
Preston, if you're listening, that should be our new name. Hopefully Kraft doesn't sue us. Chris Robinson might. All right, so this.
Yeah, Jay James.
Thank you. This one's called Delta. Time to turn out the TV. Time to turn out the lights and go to sleep. Sweet dreams, my boy.
see you tomorrow as you lay down in your twin bed, thinking of all the things you shouldn't have said at school. Don't let it go to your head, because you'll miss out on the dreamscape. Another world to try and live in, where the grass is blue and not green, with the rapid moving eyes. Well, now your eyes are filled with sand. You are now the second in command for the night. Now let your mind take flight. Yeah, take flight in the atmosphere that is clean and breathable for eternity. But if you just go to sleep, but mom was walking in the rain. Oh, she's waiting for the sunshine. Daddy hides behind the rain clouds, disguising all of his tears. Whoa. It's time to turn out the TV. It's time to turn out the lights and go to sleep. Sweet dreams, my dear, and I will see you tomorrow as you lay down by my side, thinking about the things we shouldn't say when we fight. Don't let it go to your head, because you'll miss out on the dreamscape. Another world to try and live in, where the grass is blue and not green, with the rapid moving eyes. Or you'll be walking in the rain, just waiting for the sunshine. And I'll hide behind the rain clouds, disguising all of my tears.
Thank you. And that one is Delta. Tell me you don't actually have a lighter on you, Chris? Dang. Always gotta have one handy.
Turn your sound up.
Turn mine up. Hey, what? Hey, what? Dude, I love those songs. That's awesome.
Thank you.
What'd I tell you? What did I tell you? J. James, that's right, there he is.
I'm always hearing Keanu Reeves, so that's refreshing.
We sat around about a week ago and just screwed around on the guitar, and we played like some Pink Floyd and things like that. So I hadn't heard any of your original stuff, so I love it. I can't wait to see. Tell me the name of the band again. Let's see that, Gabriel.
Cat Stevens?
Dirty Mac and Waylon Free.
Dirty Mac and Waylon Free. That's how I want my laundry done. Dirty Mac with Waylon Free. And it's gluten-free as well. Hey, a big thank you to you for tuning in tonight, for your patience with my rambling on. As usual, it's what I do. That's what I do. Oh, don't drink and I'll ramble on. Right. And our new and very good friend, Jay James here. Do tune in next week when we have from the Minnesota Army National Guard, Mr. Anthony Housey. He's not Mr. He is some type of ranking official, which I am. He's going to let me know that I screwed that up. But and some more music, and me. You got to put up with that part of it. Me. Please remember, if you are struggling, you are not alone. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number 800-273-8255. Help is just a call away. Or by text on the text lifeline, texting Minnesota to 741-741. There are people out there who understand and care. Please stay safe out there, Minnesota. We'll see you next Tuesday. Good night.